Good, happy Sunday afternoon, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the last Sunday of 2018, and welcome to this edition of Politics with Riley King. Let's begin. First up, former Ayotte aide Liz Johnson hired as Romney's communication director. Veteran political and policy communication specialist Liz Johnson has been hired by U.S. Senate-elect Mitt Romney as his communications director as he prepares to take office representing Utah, Romney announced on Thursday. Johnson was the communication director for former New Hampshire U.S. Senator Kelly Ayotte, both in her Senate office and on her campaign trail. She began with Ayotte in 2011 as press secretary and was promoted to communications director in 2014. Ayotte is known to be friendly with Romney and endorsed him when he ran for president in 2012. Senate to reveal proposed new drinking water limits on PFAS. New Hampshire is developing a new state limits on 4 types of industrial chemicals in drinking water that are due out New Year's Day. The limits cover 4 chemicals from the board class of PFAS, non-stick, waterproof, or otherwise resistant industrial substances. New Hampshire Public Radio reports the proposed limits would create new treatment and testing requirements for all public water systems in the state if approved. Department of Environmental Services spokesman Jim Martin says the department has been working diligently to meet the January 1st. The limit will account for existing health studies on PFAS and estimated complements cost for water supplies. The proposed limits will require more public input and legislative approval. Water around military base, factories, and other sites were found contaminated with chemicals. New Hampshire alarming law to change on January 1st. New Hampshire's alarmary law are changing with the start of the new year, and lawmakers say they hope the new system is less voluntarily. Armly changes that are part of Senate Bill 71, which passed this year, are set to go into effect on January 1st. The change include a formula to determine how much a person paying alarmary must contribute to the payee. The amount of alarmary will be set at up to 30% of the difference between the two parties' gross income at the time the order is created, unless the court finds that an adjustment is required. Maximum duration of the alarmary term can be up to half the length of the marriage, unless the payer reaches retirement age first. New Hampshire Public Radio reports the new formula is expected to prevent payments from varying widely depending on judicial. Federal alarmary status are also changing in the new year, with payments no longer being tax deduction and receipts of alarmary no longer counting as taxable income. The Associated Press also reported on this. New Hampshire Democrats seek to reverse voting restrictions. Newly empowered Democrats are hoping to reverse two recent changes to New Hampshire's election laws before either fully takes effect. One of the new laws requiring voters to provide more documentation if they register within 30 days of an election remains tied up in court. The other, which ends the distraction between fully flagged residents and those claiming the state as their place for voting, takes effect July 1st. Both passed under Republican-led legislatures, but Democrats won majorities in both House and Senate on November, and they are drafting a bill to essentially repeal both changes. Minimum wage in Massachusetts to increase starting January 1st. Let's take a listen to the video.
Tis the season to save big on your next vehicle at Fairfield Kia. We've got the deals you want during Kia.
Okay, and there you go on that video. Proposed bill would legalize recreational marijuana in New Hampshire. Let's take a listen to the video.
Tis the season to save big on your next vehicle at Fairfield Kia. We've got the deals you want during Kia's.
A proposed bill to legalize recreational marijuana in New Hampshire is now in the works. Democrat Rep. Rennie Cushing of Hampton says the bill is still just a draft. It would legalize up to an ounce of marijuana for adults 21 and older and would set up a cannabis control commission to license and regulate businesses. Taxes from sales would go in part to substance abuse treatment and prevention. Towns and cities where businesses are located would get a cut, and money would go to public safety agencies for impaired driving enforcement.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. So far, government shutdown has muted effects in New Hampshire. Take a look at this article from the Union Leader. And if you want to see that full article, we will share a link with you on the Riley King Network Facebook page. Trump immoral doesn't tell the truth. Retired Army General McChrystal. The former top commander of the U.S. in internal focus in Afghanistan, retired four-star Army General Stanley McChrystal, criticized Donald Trump's behavior in handling the presidency, saying the commander-in-chief is dishonest and immoral. And that did it for this edition of Politics with Riley King. I hope you all enjoyed this Sunday edition of Politics with Riley King on the last day of 2018. Have a wonderful Sunday, everyone. I'll see you back here next Sunday for another edition of Politics with Riley King. Goodbye, everyone.